Can you believe that Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball was so popular for the Xbox that it got a platinum collection version? That's absolutely insane to me. And this Hard Off has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copies of Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. It's absolutely wild to me. And something that actually did interest me was Phantom Crash. I saw this little, it looks very interesting. I've never played it. It was apparently made by Genki. You can play it in stereo, surround sound. It looks very cool, but I don't even know if this ever came out in America. I'm your man in Japan, Jay Contra, and I'm here in Shimonoseki. We're back on the island of Honshu in the prefecture of Yamaguchi, going around some hard offs. And while I do have some interest in the original Xbox for Japan, just because it got some interesting games. We've got, what is it, Marakumo. It's got some cool looking graphics for the original Xbox. But the Xbox, I never had it when I was, back in the day. I had a Gamecube, and I eventually bought a PS2, but I never had an American Xbox. I only played Halo with my friends, so I didn't even see what the point was. Anything else that looks interesting? I know the racing games for the Xbox were well received. Anything else exciting? No, what I wanted to point out was a very excellent selection of GameCube games, because my interest right now, my nostalgia has sort of shot past the N64 and it's back to the GameCube. YY Golf. Wow, by Eidos. Interesting. Whoa. Wow, it's getting some pretty risky games here. Oh, and here's Super Mario Sunshine. They've got some great prices on these GameCube games. Like, $18 for Mario Sunshine's really good. That's actually pretty good. It looks to be in fair condition. Love to pick that up. And they've even got, Star Fox Assault. Oh, I remember when I first came to Japan, this used to be like a $50 game, and now it's going for $25. It seems like GameCube games still haven't hit that point where they're quite sought after yet, and I don't know if that's because they were backwards compatible with the GameCube, and so people weren't really looking for them, or backwards compatible with the Wii, excuse me. Soul Calibur 2, and then here's Disney's Magical Park. And it seems to be a pretty solid pricing structure. They don't price things at 100 yen, it's 500 yen here. This is one of the more interesting hard-offs that I've been to. It's got quite the selection, and everything's very well organized, very well kept. And then, oh, here's the gem, Rogue Squadron 2. I would love to play this game. And for I think it's 2,000 yen, $20. That's practically a steal. That's great. It's like you're watching the movie. And then, then here we've got a Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door going for like $18. That's crazy. This used to be like a $40 game, and I think in some places it even goes up to about $30. But it seems like the GameCube is not really well liked here for some reason. I don't know if that's the area. Sometimes you find Xbox towns, sometimes you find PlayStation towns, and Kirby Air Ride, $50. It doesn't even have the outer, the outer casing, and it's $50. Then Giftopia. This is one of those weird GameCube games that I never really hear people talk about. I would love to play one of these days. What are we looking at? Oh, here's the portable game showcase. We got anything, some Yu-Gi-Oh games. Interesting. Let's bring that. Oh wow, see Mother 3. Like, look at that. I think in Tokyo you're spending what, 6,000 yen plus to get Mother 3. Here you're looking at $35. Got Metroid Zero Mission, the remake of the original Metroid from the Famicom days. And we've got, wow, Fire Emblem. Oh, this Fire Emblem can get pretty valuable. $30 for the, what is it? The Seal Sword. Did that come out in America? I can't remember which Game Boy Advance Fire Emblems came out in America. They might have all come out in America, actually. Someone will probably correct me in the comments, and I appreciate it. As much as I love Fire Emblem, I should probably know more about it. Oh, and they also have all of the re-releases of the Final Fantasy games on the Game Boy Advance. I don't know why Final Fantasy IV is going for $15 Get Final Fantasy V is going for $30. And then we get Final Fantasy VI going for $35. That's weird. Oh, and then if you want to pick up Mother, complete in box, that actually might be worth getting for $30. That's really good. You don't, for some reason, the only copies of Mother I ever find are without the instruction manual, and I guess that's because no one wants it. Anything in the loose Super Famicoms that's interesting? Advanced Dungeons and Dragons put out by Capcom. Of all companies, Capcom. I did not expect that. Anything else? Okay, let's do a quick look. What is this? Students of Round? What is this? What is this? Oh, looks kind of trashy. Interesting. Oh, and then for some reason there's an American copy of Samurai Shodown Sen for $25. See the notes here? Well, you can tell. I mean, we can tell if you're from America because of the ESRB rating. But it's also to alert the audience. Here's it's the foreign version. It's got the English everywhere. So, what is the story? How did this? I always love seeing foreign games in Japan. It's always, what's the story behind it? Who was the person who brought it over, and then was like, nah, I don't need this anymore, and sold the Hard Off. What's their story? Oh yeah, and here's this ridiculous copy of Shenmue 2, going for $50. It doesn't even. This is just the bare This is the bare version. There was a version that came in like a sleeve that had an extra disc with it, I think. $50 for this is a bit pricey. Maybe that's because it just got re-released though, so you'd think it would be cheaper actually. Oh, and then remember when Kinect Star Wars came out? It's like, okay, this is the game that everybody wants. We're gonna love to play Jedi on the Kinect. And then it was garbage. It was terrible. No one wanted to play it. It seemed like it could have been the one reason why you would have bought a Kinect, but anything interesting? Hold on, look at the. All right, you can look at the anime while I try and locate some good games. What is this? Cyberbots, Full Metal Madness. This is it's like a robot fighting game. It's like Capcom tried creating a new franchise, didn't quite work out, I guess. Here's an Evangelion game. There's so many Evangelion games that are just way beyond me. First of all, I don't even understand what happens in Evangelion. How am I supposed to understand what goes on in the game? And then see, here's a lot of the games you didn't get for the Dreamcast in America. It's the kind of the anime, the trash games. It's a lot of adventure titles. And then if you look at these. Look at the burns. Look at how faded some of these labels are. Like, this is real bad as compared to like this fresh one over here. Wow, I wonder if it's. I still do not understand what is causing all the label fades on these games. Is the lights here? I don't know. Some of these games have probably been here for 5 years plus. It's been a while since I've been to this particular location. I haven't been here in at least 4 years. And the store has been renewed. It's been, refurbished, but some of these games have probably been here for 10 years plus. There's Purumieru for $10. Okay, we'll put you away, and then we'll move over. Let's look at some. Let's look at what do they want us to buy from the PlayStation era. Nothing super exciting. Nothing that. Street Fighter Collection. Okay, for $18? What do we get? We get Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter 2. We get Super Street Fighter 2 X and 02 Alpha 2. Okay. Oh, and then here's Final Fantasy VII for $10. That's a bit expensive. Anything crazy? No, I don't see anything crazy expensive for the PlayStation. Here's I don't even know what this is. Well, maybe it's kind of like Her Story, but before Her Story. Man, some of these adventure games are very interesting, and I would love to play them one of these days. Oh, what do we got? Oh, Marvel Heroes versus Street Fighter EX Edition for $30. Interesting. Oh, and then here's the Marvel vs. Capcom EX Edition. Let's saunter on over to the showcase because I just wanted to see how good their Gamecube collection is. Here is Kirby's Air Rider going for 6,000 yen. That's not bad, and it's in pretty fair condition. that's not a bad price. I would say probably 5,000 would be a good price. Then we've got Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. We've got one without the sleeve going for $25, and one with a bit of a tattered sleeve going for $30. And then they've also got something I don't see in the wild. We've got Shadow the Hedgehog. Ikaruga, you don't see that too often. $50, I guess, is the Tokyo price for the game. And then we got Custom Robo, which is not the N64 version, it's the Gamecube version, which I've never played. But Custom Robo is a great series, and I recommend the N64 game, definitely, to everyone who loves the N64. And then something that is very tempting is this re-release, or the remake of, I want to say, like one of the computer versions of Castlevania, the original. They re-released it on the PlayStation, and it's going for $40, which is pretty good, because I think that goes for $50 plus in Tokyo. Oh, and then there's another Bomberman Land 2. And for some reason, Metal Slug Compete is like a complete. It's like a $30 game for the PlayStation 2, and it's just a ROM set. Like, that's basically what it is, but people seem to still want it. And there's Rescue Rangers 2. I know the American version's really expensive, I believe, but this Japanese version is going for $40. That's real good. Well, it's fine. I guess it's fine. It's been a while since I played Rescue Rangers 2. And then a couple of the X's. Now, what's very interesting about this particular Hard Off is that I don't see a whole big retro console section up on the normal side of things. All they've got is kind of like PlayStation 3s and a couple Xbox 360s. And you see a bit of a hint of it here because they have a Dreamcast going for $60, which is really expensive. Like, I've seen places sell complete in box Dreamcasts for, $40. This one does come with the memory unit in the controller. It's in good condition, but $60 is a bit pricey. It's labeled as junk, but it does work. They do tell you it. They spell it out. It works. It plays Dreamcast games just fine. But there's no guarantee on it. Whereas if they did label stuff, like everything else. Oh no, they've even got PlayStation 3s labeled as junk. I've never seen this before. They're labeling stuff as junk just because they don't want to guarantee it. So I guess that's our cue to head back to the junk section, which is pretty phenomenal, actually. It's a junk section, the likes of which I have not seen for a long time. Because first off, they have all of these, I guess you could say, doujin shooters. Some of you might be familiar with them. I am not. Hold on, let's see if we can get a better view. So they've got all these Touhou project shooters that were released for Windows 2000 and Windows XP. And they're going for about 1,000 each. I would actually need to see what the actual value on this stuff is. I don't know if it's valuable or not. But I would love to get some shooters. I'm actually thinking about building a Windows XP machine, because I think I found one at the local Hard Off that I could restore pretty easy, and some of these might be fun to play on it. But I've never seen anything like this before. It's just like someone brought in a whole bunch that never sold because they look in pristine condition. And I can't imagine that the place around here is gonna attract enough otaku that are trying to get rid of their precious shooters. Then here we've got, this is also very tempting because my Famicom bit the dust. This is an AV Famicom going for $70, and they even have a really good looking Super Famicom going for $60 with 2 controllers. That's key, and it's got all the original cables, I believe. Anything else super exciting? No. Whoa, this is interesting. Hold on. Wii U is junk. It played games. A 32 gigabyte Wii U going for $30. So it's just the console is $30. Plays everything fine, and then apparently there's a problem with the right stick, but you can buy the tablet for $20. Huh. Has the Wii U fallen that far? Oh, and you can get a PS3 Hori monitor. Whoa, for $100. If you look at that, they've got the PlayStation 1 here, and they've got the monitor back there for $100. Wow. That's fascinating. I've never seen that. And then, so instead of having all of these consoles up front, where you would have to probably put like a 10-day guarantee on them, they took all of these Super Famicoms, bundled them with controllers. They don't even have their adapters. Probably because, the assumption is, you probably have them laying around somewhere. You can pick these up for $30. 30, 25, because it only has one controller. And they've also done the same with their N64s. Like this one, okay, it has the power adapter. You might not be able to see it because of the glare, It does not, however, come with the AV cables, which I did look ahead and I did find some for $8. So if you wanted a playable N64, it's going to cost you $32 overall. But you're not going to get a guarantee on it. They say it worked, but if it stops working between the time you buy it and when you get home, then that's tough. That's bad for you. As for everything else, it's, you know, your standard junk section. Lots of PlayStation 2s and PlayStation 3s. I'm kind of talking a bit fast just because I want to run. I'm about to run out the clock on this. But it's a very interesting, well-organized Hard Off that the prices are kind of all over the place because you got some rare games that are cheap, and then you got some common games that are expensive. But this has been your man in Japan, Jay Contra, at the Shimonoseki Hard Off in Yamaguchi Prefecture, saying thanks for watching, see you next time, and mahalo.